the setup, hey? You've gotta love it. One of the best setups around, I reckon. This is the most handsome man in Mount Gambier.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's a low bar, so. Most spastic.
And the second most handsome in the process.
I don't know about that.
Gotta love it. All our new friends.
Use our flanking to get to the J point, to achieve the near side underhook, to achieve the tripod, to achieve the knee wipe, to achieve the mount. If I was taking the same line, and I started cross-stepping, he's keeping me out of J point, so therefore I move to the leg drag. Cool, I've got a leg drag position. So many things I could do. I could use a split post to go to north-south. I could go clearly cradling into side control. But I don't want that. I'm targeting mount. So what technique and handle do I choose to get to that position? Well, I'm going to take a low waist, I get my head position underneath his jaw, I open the inside space, I hit my weave, throw my knee into the inside position, get my preset underhook, and I take them out from my leg drag. HQ. Now I'm in HQ. I'm wrist pinning, I'm offsetting, I'm making sure he doesn't get this inside position. If I just dump over the top of him, he can hook up anytime. Exactly what he wanted. So instead, I'm intentionally bringing pressure and weight to that heel. Now there's a lot of passes that I could potentially do. Okay, but if I offset my shoulders, when he goes to elevate me, I can offset my shoulders again to take that space away. Create a set-up leg drag, still wrist spinning. I now have a near side underhook. I can go to my tripod again. Walk knees to ribs, clear, and move into the mount from HQ. And if something else happens in HQ, and he flares his knee out against me, well, I get a framed HQ. I go to the same position, knee cut across, kick, come back towards my mount position, because that's what I wanted. So what we're doing now, guys, and as I said before, is I'm now asking you to do something that's very difficult, but has a massive payoff down the line when you start thinking this way. If every time I start flanking, I say, well, I'm going to take mount, all of my technique selection becomes very clear. So from this massive potential technique pool that we could be choosing from, I start to narrow the subset of choices and intrinsically narrow the subset of outcomes, because I'm streamlining everything towards mount. If I come in with that notion, when I hit these spots, I won't move forward unless my setup is correct. And even go a step further than that, I won't mount unless I have a preset underhook. I'm not going to take an opportunistic mount. I'm going to have a preset underhook before I move to mount, so I don't have to pry the elbows out. Okay. This is, again, difficult, but the way we can start thinking to start informing smart, logical lines. Now those lines might look different for everyone. It might not be mount that we're going for. Maybe it is north-south. Okay. We can do the same thing, we can play the same game. Okay. Lines, north-south. Leg drag, split post, north-south. HQ, hip corner, back step, north-south. There's so many ways you can think of this, okay? But now I'm asking you to think. So when we go away now, I want you to set up in your camping point or thereabouts, and I want you to target a position, and I want you to think about what pathway or handle that you will use moving forward to achieve that target position consistently. So I'll come around and I'll give you some advice, but you've got to show me what you're going to do here. Now we start thinking. This is where the individuality really comes in. Sort of blow the doors off of the possibilities here, because you're a lot taller and bigger than me. You're going to do different things. Okay? Matt is long, he's lean, his body is going to move in different ways, he's going to do different things. And we should do different things. We shouldn't be carbon copies of each other. So take this concept of layer passes, flanking, camping point, targeted position, and put yourself into it. Okay? 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Last? Yeah, the margin of the error is so small. Wow. Even like every time I supposed to hit the foot, I know that. Holy shit. Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you, man.
As soon as I walk into HQ,
And like, I'm really, seriously, make sure the ball as well. The other hook, as soon as you've got that in the head, then it's just like, that's what I feel like. Oh, you can't catch it. Yeah. Thank you.
When you want to slip, you gently put your feet on your hands. Let him feel this breeze coming, and it helps you retain it out. So sometimes if you want to do this, also do this.
All good. Yeah, all good, bro.
Appreciate the help.
Yeah, all good.
Q&A, guys, you did a pretty good amount of rolling there. We're very open to the learning from the technical side. What were some questions directly that you had from observing and participating? I know there was one here.
Yeah, just watching your live round, I was wondering how you maintain top position,
In mount, yeah. So mount within itself is a very technical position, but just like everything else that I'm doing, I have some sort of prerequisites and qualifiers. If you remember what I was saying about, I only really move to mount if it's connected with my underhook. I don't necessarily want to snatch mount opportunistically, I want to set it up ahead of time. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want to mount my opponent in a very specific way. Who do we care the least about here? Ivan. Let's go with an application-based example. Maybe HQ, near side undercut. Here I am. What I'm doing is I'm purposefully presetting this left underhook through the process of passing, so that when I pass, I can actually knee flare and then sprawl into the mount position. Okay, in MMA, you're up here. And if you're very technically sound and you're a movement-based operational player, we might start getting things like cross wrist pins. But the time that you're likely going to lose the mount is here, when your knees are on the floor. Because when he moves his hips, he will move you. If he gets his elbows inside, or even on either side, and just pushes my hips, see how his elbows can be on the inside of my body? So first thing is, I don't really want to give him the opportunity to do that because he's going to kip, he's going to go to single leg X. If I bring my weight low and I have my knees and feet under his body pulling up from the underside, when he puts his hands on my hips, he'll leave me the arm for the underhook. Because my hips are low, he has to side bend to get to that. Okay? So if I had a preset underhook to start with, I would follow that line and get an automatic high arm. And I might do things like push-pull to get a double crossface in this position so that I know he can only go this way. And if my hips are low, when he pushes my hip, he's leaving the side bend, he's going to give me a nice easy underhook. I want easy underhooks, okay? But the thing is, even from here, I'm not putting my knees on the floor. Because what happened just then, Ivan? What did you feel?
Your weight is a lot less weight.
A lot lighter, right? So you can move your hips around. So you're moving your hips, you're destabilizing my mount. So I'm trying to bypass the mid zone of the mount. And I'm getting his elbows as high as I can. Sometimes I'll even do a more technical setup where I'll have a gift wrap set up ahead of time. I'll get my double underhook and lock over the juncture of the hand line so that my left elbow is planted. Because I want to get up and under his triceps when I move to technical mount. Okay? So when I go tech mount, I'm going all the way up under the triceps. If his elbows were even crossed here, when I try to move the tech mount, my base will be wide open and I'll be low on his body. Now I can work from there, but I don't want to have to. So we're setting up a very strong, high elbowed cross-up mount before we go. And the second part of this, when you move to tech mount, I'm not going to throw my arms in and interlink early. If he's doing what most people do and actively try to block their top arm, I will pull these elbows to a cross point so that his elbows are one over the other in the center of his body. This is very difficult for him to bridge and escape from. Okay? And when I have this position, see the arc of my hips and knees is very close by. Even if I was down here, it'd be a little bit more open, but I'm getting up underneath his deltoids and his triceps. I can now, without interlinking, focus 2-on-1 on the top arm. And when I pull this arm into my hip line, I get a more clear picture of the stacking of the elbow line. This is what I'm aiming for. We can slide grip the Kimura, we can underhook to arm straighten, but what we can most importantly do is anchor this elbow grip and expose the hand. So that when I armbar, I can either triangle off the armbar, slide the armbar under the head, or go shin across the face, but either way, I'm going to finish the armbar on a closed plane armbar when the arm is across the body, not open. So in the final phase, if I do all of this, and he actually bridges back against me and he turns, okay, so now I can just armbar in a conventional format. I'm going to make him fight me into that open plane armbar, but I'm going to aim to finish a closed plane armbar. So the circuit would become near side underhook, tripod, sprawl into the mount, free early underhook, double crossface, punch it up, double gift wrap, high tech mount, 2-on-1 cross to the hip, give myself space, finish. And that's it. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes if you visualize what position Ivan was just in that entire time, he went from being here to here to here to here to here. That was all I made him do, and I didn't let his shoulders leave the mat.
I thought he was suffering the whole way.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't, because if you're underneath the mount, you can get a cross frame. Mount, in theory, is easy to defend because all you have to do is make a mount, not mount. You have to just disrupt their base processes enough to try to make them make a decision to either continue to enforce or leave the mount. And the truth is, if you rolled with me today, what position did I go to? Mount. I went to mount on everyone. This was not me making a point about the passing that we're doing today. This is my strategy overall when I'm rolling in general. Yeah. So if I connect on those steps, it has an intentional finish point every single time. So from the time that I engaged your guard to go into the mount, this was the process. Yep. Walking through the door to the destination. With some other questions? We had another question.
Ask how like HQ had hit so heavy.
Yep. I try to make sort of multi-directional play in the HQ. I'll just pop Ivan out because we were talking about this before. So there's a couple of forms of HQ, if you will. I'm thinking about his anatomical cues, and I'm also thinking about how it feels to him to be in the HQ position, on what I'm trying to take away from him. Okay, so with this HQ, again, his knees are facing away from me. If I let him connect here like this, he has an R guard now, so I don't want to allow him to have this R guard. So I'm going to need to split his legs apart. I want to keep this hip at peak flexion here. So this would be extension, this would be flexion. I want that hip at flexion. So if he down blasts with his hamstring, I don't want that to happen. I want to make it so that that's difficult for him to do at the very least, right? That's one of the things I'm trying to go for. With this side hip, again, I want to pinch this hand to the ground because I know that if he underhooks here, he can move back into X, waiter, all kinds of things that I don't want him to discuss with me. So I'm going to make sure that this hip is pinched, and initially something that I do, because I'm actually short comparative to a lot of other people. So I need to sit on this heel to keep this quad at peak flexion as well. This is what's going to tire this top side frame and give me a lot of strong options as we move forward in HQ. But it's a non-conventional HQ to start with, and there's a reason why I do it. I'm trying to track my hips towards their diagonal shoulder initially, but I'm not going to stay here. If I try and dive his upper body, he'll just frame me up. That's when all the off-balancing will come. Okay? So when he blasts up at this is when I'll use my shifts of my shoulders. My hips and shoulders shift together each time. And now I can take the space away, moving chest to chest more organically against his attempts to elevate me. So I don't rush, I just use the offset and shifts against him. Whole time he's going to be trying to weave this leg in. I've got to make sure this doesn't happen. Can't let him underhook. Now, here's the thing. If he goes to underhook my leg or take a grip, this is very good for me. Because he's given me this little arc of opening to create a framed HQ, which allows me to get forward and get my passing processes underway. Right? There's a ton of really strong things that could potentially happen, but I've got to be ready to enact all the outcomes. So it's like when we did that exercise that was survey and cook the camp, what did I actually learn from that? What I've learned is like people will try and get this leg in, they'll try and flare the knee out or in. Sometimes if you keep them here for long enough, they end up fatiguing this leg so you can pop straight over and either take them out or bolo off. But the thing they also do is they don't like the way this feels. So sometimes if I put my elbow on the inside of their knee, they end up flicking their foot to the outside hip again. So I put the hip here to try and get some sort of guard, which is a huge mistake because that allows you into this split, like inside split position. And you're trying to close your legs.
No.
Give it a shot. Trying to close them. He'll shoot me through the pipeline when he tries to close it. So there's a couple of contingencies as well. So, but this is what happens, like the hip is in a very rough position. We're fatiguing the hip. It's hard for him to just exist in that position. And every time he tries to put his guard back in, it gets blocked. It's worse and worse and worse. This cramps, this cramps, this cramps. I know this because people have done it to me. So I'm trying to make you feel like how I felt. Helpless. Yeah? It's a good way to think of it. But I guess you're taller. So
Is it necessarily a position you're recommend for a taller player?
yeah, 100%. Who are you going to face up on? Probably bigger, taller guys. So every strategy is viable if it has an internal logic. That actually leads me to a good point. If I came over to any one of you today and I asked you a question, like, hey, why are you doing it like that? Why are you doing this? If you were able to give me a good, logical line, an answer that made sense to you, even if I disagreed with it, I wouldn't contest it. Because it's logic for you. So what's going to happen, and the reason I'm saying this, what's going to happen if you set up into this HQ and you find answers to positions that I have not discussed, that does not mean it's not correct. That likely means it's very correct for you. You might even find like length-based strategies. I don't do this that much, but like a length-based strategy would be cornering the hip on this side and turking the heel on this side. So when he tries that, oh, it's quite difficult. And that's like a length-based strategy. So who knows? We'll see, right?
Yeah.
You had a question.
Yeah. Quite now,
He's gone.
give me a second.
No. Anyone else? Can be about anything. Saunders is pretty big.
How did you get into your Greco-Roman stuff from Adelaide?
Well, I was playing rugby, so I started as a swimmer when I was, 7 to 9 years old, and I was a sprint freestyle, sprint butterfly swimmer. And as you know, that's very regimented. And I had a coach who was very smart, and he had me doing a little bit of Muay Thai and a little bit of boxing around that age to increase my efficiency and coordination. You've got a kid that age who's got some natural power, it's very likely they have zero coordination to go along with it. So because I did that for so long, and I'm at state and a national level as a swimmer, I'm also, 5'7" maybe? So I win nationals, win Panvex, and then can't make a final the next year because all the kids have grown a foot taller in a game that takes a fingernail to win, right? So I had done that for so long, I was looking for a team sport. And through the Muay Thai and the boxing that I was doing, I met some guys who were playing rugby. So I started playing rugby for Burnside Rugby Union. And lo and behold, I had this natural aptitude for tackling and grappling. And one of the guys there, his name was Pavel Rogoski. He was a wrestler from London. And he was a Greco-Roman wrestler, and he saw a bit of talent. We would just meet up every single day and wrestle. And he would show me everything that he knew how to do. But he was also very smart as well. One of his favorite fighters was Lyoto Machida. If you think about at the time that I'm discussing, like I'm 37 years old. This was a while ago. Lyoto was like a very eclectic fighter. Lots of different styles blended in. So that coach had me doing a lot of different styles of wrestling and movement. And he ended up getting a job at a bank in China when I was 16. So by the time I was 17, I started looking for grappling in my local area and found jiu-jitsu. Right? But that's also why, like, I don't do gi so much now. Because I came at it from a different perspective. In the time period, if you were going to do MMA in the state of South Australia, very likely that your inception to combat sports was like hoist wrestling, like gi jiu-jitsu. And if you wanted to do a massive component of MMA, which was jiu-jitsu, you were going to have to train in the gi, because every club was in the gi. There was no black belts in this thing. None of them. No such thing as like a pathway to ADCC or anything like that. Ultimate Fighter had just come out, you know what I mean? But I had this wrestling background. And the thing that I was learning in wrestling was handles of the body. Claw handles, half Nelsons, double wrist controls, which is Kimura, seat belts, tight waves, high crutches, ligament gripping. Like these are so important. And what I was immediately able to see is that the gi had that for gi. Like if you think about the intricacies of gripping for judo in a standing setting, and the intricacies of gripping for jiu-jitsu in a passing setting or a gi setting, like a guard setting, wrestling has that too. So when I was doing no-gi, I had like this massive advantage of using proper handles to move through positions. Whilst everyone was thinking, oh, it's very like fast-paced and frenetic, I'm like, no, there's handles here, we've got to use these handles. But yeah, I mean, next year I will be coming up on 9 years as a black belt, and I took the gi off 3 years into becoming a black belt and just following through with the no-gi pathway the whole time. So definitely wrestling is like an advantage that I have, and I know what you're talking about. Like, there's no wrestling in this actually. Yeah, there's no wrestling. I remember when because he was maybe 110 kilos, and I used to fight at 66. So like, yeah, it's just me shooting 1,000 times and failing, and then getting a bit of an idea about it after 1,001. So bad, but it's good. I wouldn't change it. I might change it a little bit because of my neck. But, you know, but actually with that, also because I had that background, if I'm wrestling or doing no-gi, I know when my neck is in danger. Like if it's under someone's armpit, side, head and arm, if I'm shooting inappropriately, if someone's actually going for a guillotine, I can surmise when my posture and neck will be in danger. Whereas in the gi, someone does a bottom lapel tag, sleeve, or a high collar, every single time I was getting neck problems, so it wasn't really worth it for me anymore. Probably lost the support of a few people when I took the gi off, but yeah, it is what it is. Gained a few more friends too. So it's good.
I've noticed when you're in the family, you usually go to Grapple to let it pass. But how do you get to that type of business? I feel like
yeah, it takes a while to trust the tripod. Right? Yeah, so yeah, I actually think that a really smart way to start is to just do near side underhook from half guard. And then just get more used to traveling your head to the far side. And not thinking of it as like I'm placing massive amounts of weight on my head, but think about dispersing weight through the position. So if I was to use Steve real quick, Steve could probably bench press me off. You reckon? You want to try? No. But what I mean is like, if I go up fast, I'll feel prone. Okay, so if I go near side under the grab, and I go up fast, I'm going to feel prone up here. Okay? So I'm going to go bottom chest first, chest to chest first, and I'll push my weight forward and have basing hands. I don't really want to hold on to his shoulder here, because he can overhook me now and decrease my stability on that side, but I'm going over, right? So if I put my hands on the floor and turn my fingers towards where my head is going to be, and my chest move forward. Now, trying to pull your arm back down, yeah, this is harder for him. Now, so if I do this, here we go. Yeah, this, much harder. And I just start to understand, like out here, look how he immediately locked up his half guard. In here, more difficult for him to do that. I start offsetting my hips and just understanding and finding where your balance is in that position, and then learning through development drills how to deal with his hooks and things like that. It's a good way to start. Because otherwise, yeah, right, like we'll just go onto their hooks and get flung. Not like I didn't have to go through that as well. But yeah. Actually, there's one of my matches. Where was I, bro? Sydney. Grapple Mania. Grapple Mania. I just used this passing the whole time, and I did it well, and I also did it poorly in the same match. So you see some of the outcomes as to like when another black belt will exploit my deficiency here, or when they get caught by the efficiency. If I do it well or if I do it poorly, the outcomes will be there, right? So it'll be a good one to watch if you want to. MATLAB Grappling Academy YouTube, all the matches. Like and subscribe. It's so bad. I need like 1,000 followers or something to get any. I would get banned immediately from YouTube. They would monetize my stuff and take it away the next time. First time AI looks at anything I've ever said or done, they're like, you're like, mate, look at those messages. These 6 group chats will have you cancelled. Any other questions, guys? Yep.
When you have them do the head to head sort of thing, as the person on the bottom, what's the best thing I can do? And I'm asking because I want to better understand how to put effects, that sort of
Yeah.
head to head. I know you obviously keep contact, but to better understand that, I'm wondering how you defend it. Like, what's the best thing
Yeah.
to do?
I'll give you
I'm
the
sorry
first.
to solve.
No, that's great. That's a great question. Who's vegan? I don't want to use you because, yeah. Just hop on top and half position. Right? So in the gi, right, I can go collar, sleeve, and anything that is in between is a frame. Because I can make the fabric taut. In no gi, I can't do that. If your goal, your only goal, was to get chest to chest with me, how would you go about doing it right now? Go straight through that space, right? Very, very simple. Yeah. So if my goal only was to protect this zone, how would I do it in no gi? Yes, but if I over shell, I'm leaving my back exposed so on and so forth. Right? And I can't have a functional guard from here. I'm probably going to go into toe. So closed framing is no gi. I'll go into floor, hands connected, high knee shield. This is a closed frame. So now because I'm closed framing, this is like a layer 2 guard. He's trying to get near side underhook. Go ahead, I trap locked in near side underhook. He tries to get cross face, blocking the cross face, 2-on-1. Now I have a set of things I can do. And if, again, I'll do this in a crash course, but if I look at this objectively, I'm going to attack the cross face arm. Shoulder arm. I'm going to attack the near side arm, shoulder crunch, overhook guard, omoplata, triangle, everything, basic half guard. If I feel any movement to extract his arms from the danger, I'll do it immediately underneath and keep framed when I start to extract the leg from the center line. Leg from center line, single leg I get to reverse legs, back to saddle positions. Okay, on the extraction. And if they attempt to step up and cut through my position, he's going to give me this leg. So if he attempts to do it the other way around, step up and cut through, now I have false reaps. Or vertical heavers, and then similar outcomes. So the way to explore that style of guard is how well can I attack from frames. My defense has to be ingrained within my attack. And if my opponent's taking those things away from me, they're smart, they're being cagey, he's not letting into any of those things, shit, oh. Layer 1, movement, snap, drag, start again from seated. Hand fighting. So like, you can sort of see the way I think and operate. Yeah. And you will be, all of you will create your own attacks based on that idea. But if I have a frame that can combat the crossface, combat the underhook, can qualify, all right, is he defending well or is he defending poorly based on my cycle of attacks, I will keep you, the top game player, in a defensive cycle and disallow you from getting passing offense. How he has to combat that, stand up. If he's looking at me and my closed frames and I stayed in this position and he starts flanking and gaining angles and I chase and follow, as soon as he sees me trying to chase and follow, J point. I opened up, he's got me reaching. He's got me out of my frames. Yeah. Any other questions, guys?
So there, continuing on that, I suppose. So if in that latch position with the near side underhook and opposite side hand position, is it kind of too late what you're saying? You'd rather
prevent it, like
Yeah.
what you're doing there before they get
There are corresponding guards to combat camps. That's like a deeper, like if we wanted to do another seminar, I would do it on that idea as an example to that. Who's confident HQ knows what it is? Knows what it is then. So Matt comes and pops himself into HQ, like it's like chess, right? His opening move is blah, HQ. So my contention to this is R guard with cross frames. So my R guard versus his HQ. Now I start to get off balances, I'm into wader, I'm into weaves, I'm into locks. Okay. Or if he goes to near side underhook, I will need to combat his near side underhook with my near side underhook. And I'll have to start trying to play an X-style game against his near side underhook. Like, let's say you go into half guard, near side, full latch, it's got to be pinned. I'll now have to start underhooking to try and go into X. So now we're in this idea. He's going to try and latch and pass, and I'm going to try and get my cross frame to X. So now it's X versus near side underhook. Get your head down. Let's see if we can win. Hard battle. Yeah. I won this time. Right? So there's like corresponding guards to combat the camping points. Well, that's a good way of thinking. I won't always win that. As an example, if it was me on top and Matt was on bottom, I would win. Poor Matt has to go back to work. This bastard is so deep. He's like, shut up, man. I just want to go out. I want to eat a sandwich. So, good stuff. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, so just continuously, I guess, identify the corresponding guards to the position.
Yeah, by doing those things. Yeah, by doing them. Like the structure at MATLAB is a little different if you've ever seen our schedule or anything like that. So Monday night is tech theme specific rounds, followed by Nogi, a lesson of Nogi. And the following day, the Tuesday, is fundamental Nogi and then all levels wrestling, which goes to a higher intensity. Wednesday is a beginner session and then guard systems, which is a purposefully low intensity day after wrestling on the Tuesday. Thursday is the flip of Tuesday, fundamental wrestling and then all levels Nogi. And then Friday is a leg entanglement class to start with and a competition preparation session. So Monday and Friday are like specialty sessions, right? Tuesday and Thursday are primary learning sessions. Wednesday is a lower intensity session. And Saturday is like open mat Q&A. For example, we did competition preparation last night. The format this time was 12 by 5-minute rounds of you're trying to get as many points as you possibly can. You're trying to get as many submissions as you possibly can. If you get 200 points, it's platinum, plus 50 submission, platinum level. There's like a bronze, silver, platinum. Anything above platinum is Batman. Right? Tech theme specific rounds. Every class that we do, so everything that I mentioned, guard systems, wrestling, whatever it is, runs in a technical theme. So a 3-week build-up, a scale-up of learning the same ideas and concepts, and then a 4th week is revision. But that Monday night is just positional rounds like what we were doing for each tech theme idea. So that you come in, the first thing you do on Monday is you start experimenting and exploring with the ideas that you're learning about. It's just that designated space to do those camping exploration drills, trying to find flanks, trying to find your little mini cycles to get into those camps, things like that. That's the designated time to do that. And a lot of progress takes place in those sessions. It's a purposefully medium to low intensity session. And what you might end up finding is like, let's say me and Matt just come in, it's just me and Matt on the mats, just come in for a private session and we just roll for an hour. And in that hour, we're trying to beat each other the entire time. We're probably going to go through maybe 4 or 5 cycles of positions and movements that have an endpoint, and we're just going to keep repeating that for the whole hour. If we came in and we did 3 by 5-minute rounds of specifics with resets, start in single leg X, okay? First point is submission, reset, 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 constantly. What's going to happen is he's going to win a lot in the beginning because he's starting in single leg X. I'm going to tap because I'm just trying to see what's going on, right? I'm going to tap and then I'm going to start adapting. And then he's going to have to adapt to that. And we just keep resetting, and the type of exploration or instances and cycles that will play out between the same two guys in 3 by 5 minute rounds will be so much more vast and so much more beneficial than if you just come in mindlessly and try to blast. But within that idea, you've got to be smart with what you're actually trying to develop and why. Are you already a good passer, or are you having problems with your passing? Are you good at single leg X, or are you having problems with that? Right? So if you target a position, you've got to put context on it. So like the whole idea of ecological training or CLA training, we did a bit of that today, but we also did targeted techniques today at the same time. So if we give context to the skills that we're trying to develop, if I tell you why we're doing what we're doing, and then I add in some guides as we go, and some good concepts, some clear logic, you'll be able to run with that and become an individual practitioner that can do it for themselves. Yep. Yeah. Film them. Watch them back. I have an online program, right? You may have seen me spruiking that shit. Online program. If Andy was in the online program, I would first ask him what his training week looks like, and then we'd talk about it a little bit, and then I'd get him to film 2 assessment rounds. One assessment round, he starts from the top position, one he starts from bottom, and maybe one that's a clear wrestling round, right? And then from there, we discuss and talk about, hey, what from that assessment can we actually make an immediate impact on? And then I would get him to film 2 of those specific rounds, from single leg X offense or single leg X defense or something like that. Reset, reset, reset. He'll send them to me. I will watch them and I will video record over the top with verbal analysis of what's going on, pause here, make a point here, make a point here. I'd send them back to him. Then I would film 2 videos of my own with specific techniques that I want him to try to employ in those next rounds of specific rounds, right? And we keep doing that over and over, and we get this tight feedback loop. And the type of acceleration you get from doing that process with an overseer or with a coach is very, very fast. Second only to you doing it for yourself. So if you need me to help you, I'll help you. But you can help yourself by doing the same thing. Constant feedback loops. Joe Chen, you guys are at the seminar. Similar ideas, right? Similar ideas. Tinkering with positions, collecting data, but sometimes that becomes hard to quantify if you don't have like another set of eyes to be like, well, you did this differently. This was the cycle that was playing out. You adapted here. This was a good choice. This was a bad choice. Let's try and do this in your next specific rounds. Take it, run with it, try it, come back, do it again. Good stuff, guys. Who wants a sandwich? We'll leave it at that, guys, but just thank you so much for being open with your learning and giving me your ears and your minds for a little while. I really hope that you were able to take something from this, whether it's the broad concept overall, or whether it's a specific handle, or maybe a detail that you really are like, oh, I never thought of it like that, or actually that really resonates with me, I'm gonna go and try and use that over and over again. If you could take anything away from this, I'm more than happy for it. This is the type of stuff that I like doing. You guys have probably seen me compete all over the country last year. I'm doing that so that the guys at the Mat Lab know that they can as well. I'm not doing that to become a world champion. What I really like doing is this. I would happily drive 4 or 5 hours to come and do this. What a great payoff for me, coming up here and meeting all you guys and sharing knowledge with you. It's so good, so good. So within that, if you guys want to come down to Mat Lab, no one in this room right now is going to get charged any dollars when they come down to Mat Lab. It's not going to be like that, because I want you there. I want you there.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Good stuff, guys. Well done. Good job.